This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in to another edition of the Draft Room right here on MV. You might be listening to this on YouTube MVP vids, you might be going MVP Sports, you might be on Apple, you might be on Spotify, you may be watching us live if you're a patron right now, but I am joined as I always am. I almost said soapy. I'm used to heel talk. Haven't had my heel talk this week. That's coming next week, but I'm joined as I always am with my co-draft partner, JD. JD, how we doing today?
Doing fantastic, guy.
I gotta ask you off the cuff. I know this isn't the onside kick. The onside kick has been retired for quite some time now, but I do need to ask you, Joe Mixon, you happy? You not happy that he gets released? And are you gonna love him when he's in a Viking jersey?
Man, I have his jersey, so I mean, I love Joe Mixon. I loved him as a draft prospect. We're not gonna get into the off the field stuff, but on the field, you know, he's a dog.
I hated him coming into the NFL.
In my opinion, he was RB1.
He went to Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
And you said we're not going to get into it. I need to remember it. He's the one that punched the girl in the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I remember there is highlights of Brandon and I, extensive conversation of us talking about that in the past.
Yeah. I mean, but like to your question, I mean, yeah, I'll be sad because, I mean, he's been a part of this team since we were dog water.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and again, he's like before Burrow, he was my favorite player on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it'll suck. I mean, I hope we can bring him back, but if we need to move on, I mean, hey, it is what it is. It's a business.
Is there a chance you release him and bring him back?
No, if we release him, I think he's gone.
Yeah, that's why I'm sitting here going, let Kirko go away. Use some of that money. Bring in Joe Mixon.
He won't be expensive though either, because
exactly. We don't even have to use all of Kirko money. We just need a little bit of the Kirko money. A little bit.
I think
a little bit of the Coles cash to get Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I think with his restructured deal, I think he's making something like $8 million compared to the 12 that he was making before.
Yeah. We could easily. We just let go Alexander Matheson. It all aligns. I'd taken Joe Mixon at this point to be a running back, but we're not talking about Joe Mixon, JD. We're going to be talking about the combine. We're going to be talking about one quarterback in particular. Before we get into everything, though, let me go through a little bit of housekeeping. Number one, if you're not in the Discord, join it. It's the greatest community in the universe. All the MVP faithful, all the members of MVP together in one place, talking about the things that we love. That link is down below in the description. We have our Patreon page where you can support us. You can either be a patron or a member. Both get the same things. We have a bunch of new perks that we've soft rolled them out. They're on the page right now. You can go look at them. Link down below. We're going to be hard releasing them. We're kind of doing them right now to get into a rhythm. Hard releases for those will be announced in April. Then also we've got podcasts. We're on the Apple. We're on Spotify. You can watch us on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. If you're on the podcast part, rate and review us. Make sure you write a review for us on Apple Podcasts. Give us those 5 stars that we deserve. But JD, let's get into everything.
Hey, Ricky, you're missing something.
Am I? I know I am, but I'm missing something else.
You just found out, just in case you are not aware, Patreon has an app, so you can listen to us in your pocket. You can listen, like, you don't have to watch the video if you don't want to. You can just throw her in your pocket and have at it.
So even though for this, I put the YouTube video as it. You can hit it and then close the phone like you used to do with old YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, they found a workaway around, like, because this was like, I'm talking like rounded edges iPhone, like the iPhone I didn't have, Dave had, where the YouTube logo. Do you remember the days where the YouTube logo on an iPhone looked like an actual television?
Yes.
That's how old I'm talking. Those days you used to play the video, click, I think it was the top button at the time. Click the top button, it closes it, and you could still listen to your YouTube video.
Yeah.
Those were as Archie Bunker would say, those were the days. Or it's Edith. Edith is the one saying that in the song.
That's my favorite thing about YouTube Premium, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but you gotta. I don't want to pay for it.
No, you're right. But it's definitely a nice
JD, I don't get to live in Canada where you don't have to deal with Bidenomics.
Brother. I'm not getting into it. I'm not getting into it.
I tried to bait him again. I went like this. I tried to bait him.
Back-to-back streams that you know. Oh, yeah.
But the other thing I forgot, also check out this podcast brought to you also by BETUS. Link down below. You can get a 125% signing bonus for clicking the link in our description. You'll hear more about BETUS later in the show. JD, how we are going to do this is we're going to start off. We're talking about one guy to start, and then at the end of the podcast, we'll break off into any other guys we want to mention from the combine. But there was one man at the combine who I would say had the worst, people were, and correct me if I'm wrong, Caleb Williams, Drake May. I don't remember May being it was Williams, May, and Daniels all did not throw.
Yeah, pretty sure, right?
So you had the top three guys not throw. Penix was there, McCarthy was there, Nix was there. JJ McCarthy, JD, had possibly, to me, the worst, maybe not the worst, but it was bad. It was bad with how, I was looking at going, how do some people have this guy rated over Michael Penix? How in the world am I looking at Tankathon seeing Michael Penix below Bo Nix, below JJ McCarthy? Now, Bo Nix, good. I like Bo Nix. JJ McCarthy, how is this man seen? I feel dumb for having him to the Raiders in my last mock draft.
I think what it comes down to is he won the Natty. I mean,
does that even matter though?
I mean, the way that it could matter is based on him being a leader, because by all accounts he was a great leader. But yeah, I mean, you also need to be good at the position, right? And like Kai points out, Kai in the Discord, like he points out all the time. I mean, Michigan was a run-heavy offense, so that could help make JJ McCarthy look better because he's not throwing the ball as much, right? And he's not forced to try and be perfect with throwing it. He's not making too many mistakes because he has low attempts. But yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not a big JJ McCarthy guy, but I think based off everything I've read and heard, I think he will be a first round pick, even though I don't really agree with it. Because I mean, he has the arm strength, but he's not like a slinger like Josh Allen, right? So I don't know. He's a weird prospect. I whenever I look at him, like if I try to throw him into like the NFL landscape, the only thing that comes to my mind is average. Like I don't see a world that he will be a top 10 or top 5 quarterback. Just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hater. Maybe I just didn't watch enough of him. But I don't know. I just don't know what to make of him, really. And his combine definitely didn't help.
So JD, the people, they can see me. They got, I'm an old man. I got my notepad here. I can actually show what's on the notepad because of my lights, nobody can read what's on my notepad. But here's the thing about JJ McCarthy, and I bring up my notepad because I've been got one here. I've got another one where there's some more. I'm taking my notes already not going to be able to do as many as I want, and that's more on me and scheduling as anything. But I'm already doing my film dives and looking into some of the scouting videos that I'm going to throw out there. And one of the ones that I've already completed the research part of it, and I'm ready to go with the recording of it, is Drake May. And there's one thing that Drake May that I see on his film that JJ McCarthy does even worse than Drake May does is, let me see if I can, right here, arm strength ? Deep balls. They're throwing deep balls looks laboring is two of my notes. And the thing that I feel like JJ has that Drake May has, and you saw it at the combine, it is bad when a wide receiver is running a fly route and you don't have the arm strength to hit him in stride. When he has to slow down, jog, catch the ball, and then can speed off. That's saying that, and okay, with the combine, I will say, wide receiver quarterbacks, these are not wide receivers that are working with it, but it's like in my head, I'm thinking, how many Michigan wide receivers were probably sitting there going, man, I wish I could just run full speed and be caught in motion. I wish I didn't have to like limit myself because JJ can't throw the ball deep. Or you're probably thinking, Ricky, they didn't even try to throw the ball deep because he can't. So why even do it if he can't? And like I look at the NFL and there's no way in college you can get away with being a run heavy team. Look at all the teams that run the pistol or the Wildcat that are like, we're going to do the option and all. There's a team. Oh, what was it? Was it Nevada or Air Force? I think it might have been Air Force. All they did was run the ball. They're known, like their system is known for we have a triple option and we're just going to run the ball. And when you look at our quarterback, he's got maybe like 2 or 3 passes a game. Yeah. Like it's insane. You can't do that in the NFL. You have to be able to make the throws. You have to be able to make medium throws. You have to be able to make deep throws. If you can't do that, I don't care what kind of a leader you are, you can't succeed at the next level.
No, for sure. And like you nailed it. And it just shows the differences of the two games, right? Like college, obviously your stars really stick out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to get away with just running the ball just because your running back might be an NFL type player and the teams you're playing are not. But like you said, in the NFL, if you're, and the same can honestly go for pass heavy teams as well. If you were solely on one side, you are so easy to game plan because the defense, they're so smart. They don't need to worry about like, oh, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? No, you are going to do this, and we know how to stop that. So, yeah, I mean, it's not going to work in the NFL. So, I just you got to hope that he goes to a team that can develop him and make him more polished as a passer, because I don't know what team would even have the luxury of mainly running the ball. And
you know what team he would work perfect on? Because correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember how many deep passes they threw. He would work in a Kyle Shanahan offense. Hand the ball off to McCaffrey, throw the ball 2 feet to your side to McCaffrey, throw the ball quick slants over the middle to Ayuk. Well, sorry, he's not going to be there. Samuel, and maybe throw a medium pass to George Kittle. You don't have to throw the ball deep in that offense.
That's actually a really good fit. I didn't really think about that.
But like because, yet again, like they have Brock Purdy, they don't need a quarterback.
I mean, they have Brock Purdy. I mean, I think the Super Bowl kind of.
No, that was all on Kyle Shanahan. That was all on Kyle Shanahan.
Hey, Purdy didn't do great either, though. Like
JD, CMC only touched the ball 2 times in the third quarter.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing, right? Like, I agree, he should have gotten more touches, but if you have an elite quarterback, you probably win that game because the Chiefs didn't play that well.
Well, you're also going up against probably the best quarterback in the league today in Patrick 100%. Mahomes.
But again, think about how close that game was. You don't think if they had a Kirk Cousins, or actually maybe I don't know.
I've got this to ask you though, and I saw this on Twitter. The tweet that I saw had it to insane levels, but I'm still gonna ask it in a sense. It was basically like it was almost berating Williams, May, and Daniels for not going to the combine, because coming out of the combine, there were some people talking about Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy being top picks in the draft, being the number one, like, oh, JJ McCarthy might be the number 1 pick. No, get out of here. Get out of here. It's your top 3 quarterbacks in consensus. I like Penix way more than the average person, but I do understand Penix is not a finished product. There needs to be things to develop from him. But Williams, Daniel, and May are probably going to be your 3 quarterbacks off the board in some order. Williams will be one, and then Daniels and May, depending on who trades up and whatnot. But the question that I'm going to ask is, did those 3 not playing at the combine basically help out Nix and McCarthy and even Penix way more than it would have if they did come and people would have been gawking over those 3 rather than, well, we got to gawk over a quarterback. Let's go ahead and gawk over what we got.
I don't really think it helped because, I mean, they're either way they're going to be throwing at their pro days, right? So
yeah, but pro days are glorified dress rehearsals.
I believe me, I'm on the same side as you. But I don't think
I'm going to throw this out here really quick. Do you remember Garrett Gilbert?
The name sounds familiar.
He went to like SMU, and I remember sitting in the old closet that we used to record in, and Dave was like, "Did you see Gilbert at his pro day? He was awesome." Where's Gilbert been sitting? Like, exactly. Like, that's what I mean. Pro days are glorified dress rehearsals. They're not any indicator of if they're top talent or not. But no. Go ahead, I cut you off.
No, but I mean, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, either way, you're going to see these other guys throw. So I don't think, like, oh, well, these guys didn't throw. So, yeah, look how good these guys are. Like, like no. I mean, either you have a good combine or you don't, right?
Yeah.
So I think it kind of, in some ways, it could hurt, like, not necessarily the throwing drills, but as a quarterback, like, if you're not doing the measurements or the medicals or whatever, then that's where I think that can hurt you, because that's a little sus. Like, I mean, the throwing part I don't think hurts you at all, because there's enough film.
I think it was what, Daniels is the one people are saying that the reason he skipped the combine was because he's got tiny hands.
Yeah.
And he didn't want that hurting his stock now.
And I think it's his weight as well. Like, I'm pretty sure he has a really small frame.
Now, I saw, yet again, we're going to bring him up again. You mentioned Kai earlier from our Discord. I'll mention him again. He mentioned that same point when we were discussing in the NFL chat about some things. It was right after he posted that Mixon was getting released. And he mentioned that, like, Daniels is undersized. Guys can always add what, like, my worry isn't in the NFL, like, oh man, he's not going to be, like, they can add muscle and stuff like that, is like that to add in the NFL, because you don't have to deal with all the other issues that happens with going to school.
No, I agree, but it also just depends, right? Because some people are just naturally, like, thicker, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, if you're like just if you're just a super skinny guy, I mean, sure, you can add muscle, but then that might only get you to like 200 pounds, right? When you have some quarterbacks who are obviously athletic, but they might be like 220, 230.
Hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast. Because he's 6'4", 210. Why aren't we having a similar conversation then about Caleb Williams, who's only 214? He's only 4 pounds heavier, or has 4 more pounds of weight. Is it that in general, or is it just that, like, Daniels looks skinnier than everyone else?
I think he looks skinnier, right? Like, he looks like he's kind of lanky. He, like, honestly, I'm not trying to be a hater. He looks more of a basketball player.
Well, you're not a hater. You've actually liked Daniels most.
No, I know exactly, but I mean, like, a hater because, like, I said, he looks more of a basketball player.
I just want the people to know out there that you've been you've been supporting Daniels. I've been a question mark guy. Yeah. I've been like, I don't know how I feel about him.
And he's on LSU, so that says something as a Gators fan.
I hate LSU. I can't stand LSU. And it has nothing to do with LSU. I loved him with that Orgeron. It's just I hate Brian Kelly, and I can't stand LSU right now.
The only LSU team I liked was that Joe Burrow, that national championship team.
Yeah, because you like Joe Burrow. and JJ.
Yeah. Yeah,
we
JJ.
both got Justin Jefferson. He was on that team.
Yeah.
We both got boys on that team.
And Marte, bro. Just okay. I'm gonna say this, not go off a big side tangent. I was so adamant that Thad Moss was gonna be a top 10 tight end.
Oh, I remember Thad Moss,
dude.
I remember Thad Moss.
Yeah, he's in the CFL now, signed with Hamilton.
Thad Moss. I forgot he existed.
Yeah. Oh, when we signed him to the practice squad, I was so hyped. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like 2019 all over again.
Did he only play with you guys? Yeah, he only played with you guys. No. He was with the Washington football team the year before you guys. That was it.
But you guys didn't have him on the team.
No, he went from the Washington football team to you guys. Took 2022 off and was last year with the Birmingham Stallions.
What league is that? The US
Birmingham? Yeah, that was the USFL.
Yeah, I don't watch that.
Yeah, the USFL. Now they're a part. It was the USFL. Now the Birmingham Stallions are part of the UFL, which is that combined league between the XFL and the USFL. Is
Dwayne Johnson still a holder or an owner?
I think it's his ex-wife. Who's he's got. I think correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. I think the Rock still makes money off of the XFL, but I think it's his ex-wife that is the one running it. Okay. It's not the Rock making decisions. Yeah. See, it says right here. XFL Properties LLC, Redbird Capital Partners, Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia 50-50. So basically him and her 50-50 own the XFL. And that's it. No. I'm dumb. I'm reading it here. So the owners of the UFL, you have 50% is the National Spring Football League Enterprises, which is basically the Fox Corporation. And then 50% to the XFL Properties, which is Redbird Capital Partners, Dwayne Johnson, Danny Garcia. So that's it. They're basically now they own the XFL part, but they're now part owners in this UFL, and it's Russ Brandon, who is the CEO of the UFL, whoever he is. I don't know who Russ Brandon is, but regardless, we're getting off the point here. I got another question for you, and before I ask it, I'm just going to answer it. It's absurd. Absolutely. My thought on this is it's absolutely absurd. I get the thought process, but to me, it's this quarterback class. I'm going to say this right now. This quarterback class is not the Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold class. This is not that, where we had back then. It was what we had: Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen. You had Lamar Jackson and Josh Rosen. You had legit 5 guys who could have been first round. Probably, let's be honest, at the time should have been first round talents. I'm still on the soapbox that Josh Rosen is not bad, that he just never got the chance and went to teams that didn't really help him grow and went to bad situations, which that's also a part of the draft. It's partly on you, but it's partly on the situations you're in. How much does that team help you grow into that next quarterback? This is from the Discord. I'm not ragging on Sam. He's just the one that brought it up. I was reading something in the NFL draft chat that we have where he was saying he slept on it, and after sleeping on it, he believes that there will be 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round, which is probably going to be, if I'm being honest, Williams, Daniels, May, McCarthy, Nix, Penix. Do you think there will be 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round, or should there be?
My answer to both those is no. I mean, if you would have asked me that like a month or so ago,
before the combine,
but even probably towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever. Yeah. And I probably would have said yes. But Bo Nix, towards the end, he just his combine. I wasn't impressed. I don't think he's a first round quarterback. I think he's probably a second rounder now, or maybe even a third. And Penix, I mean, I like him. I don't love him, but I think he's a second rounder. And but yeah, so I think realistically, I think the four quarterbacks that are going are probably Williams, May, Daniels, and McCarthy. So I don't really see anyone else.
Penix is going to be a first rounder.
If he is, I think he sneaks into the end of the end of the first.
Because I'm still on this, and I said it in the Discord today. When it comes to my Vikings, here's my mindset of how the first round is probably going to go. Apparently the rumor was we really wanted AR last year. We really wanted Anthony Richardson, wanted to give up the golden goose to get him. Colt said, no, we're not going to make that trade. We're not going to take low first round draft picks. Let's go ahead which honestly, let's be honest, AR would have gotten injured. Our team wasn't that good. Would have been the same as this year. They would have had the 11th pick in the draft, just saying that. However, AR is the prize. They said, we're going to keep AR. We're going to draft him for ourselves. I look at AR, and when I look at AR, I go, okay, which quarterbacks in this draft class have similar tools to him? To me, I look at Michael Penix, and I look at Jaden Daniels. And when I'm looking at it, when I say dual threat too, I didn't say this in the Discord, but I'll say this now. The dual threat quarterback, JD, to me, has changed. It used to be like Michael Vick, where I'm a threat with my legs. I am going to burn you. But guess what? Guys on defense got bigger, got faster, got stronger as well. The game has also changed to where it's like, whoa, we're getting hit a lot more. We can't take those hits. So it's turned more into, hey, I'm mobile on my feet. I can move. I can use my legs if I have to, but I'm not going to make that the main weapon. And that's kind of what the dual threat quarterback is right now, of just having that, hey, I can move out of the pocket and be comfortable doing that if I have to. I feel like the Vikings are going to do one of three things. Number one, I feel like they're going to try to trade up to get Jaden Daniels. If that doesn't work, like I think it's not going to, they're going to move to plan 2, which is Michael Penix. Either Penix is going to fall to them at 11 and they take him outright at 11, or if they see, hey, he is somebody that teams are going to pass on, I could see the Vikings doing much like what the Lions did last year. Let me trade back a few spots, get some draft capital, go ahead, take Penix later in the first.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys could do that, like trade back and get more draft capital, I think that would obviously be your best scenario, because I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but you guys need talent ASAP.
Well, here's the problem too, and yet again, I don't know. They seemed real, but yet again, it could just be Twitter being overreactionary. But apparently there were, and I'm looking at it right, I'm going to look it up right now on Twitter, is basically the thing that I saw going around on Twitter today is that there were moving trucks outside of Kirk Cousins' home. So let's see. And one of the things is the team that's been brought in is kind of like the one, and I'm reading a tweet right here from 2 hours ago. According to Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, Kirk Cousins moving on to the Falcons has no impact on Justin Jefferson signing a long-term deal. That's the main rumor right now. Is Kirk done with the Vikings? Moving truck, could be nothing. Is he looking to move? Is he going to sign a deal with the Falcons? The Falcons, when I heard it today, I thought it was interesting because from everything that we were hearing is that they pretty much had a done deal for Justin Fields. How does that throw that into dismay? What do the Bears now do? That could be an entire topic on itself, but keeping it just to Kirk Cousins is, I feel like Kirko moving on, the Vikings are going to need to get a quarterback, because if we don't get, and I hate to say it, if we don't get one of these top 6 quarterbacks, what are we going to do?
Hey, so
don't.
No. What you're gonna do?
I know what you're gonna say.
Just became available.
What?
He just became available.
What?
Broncos country. Let's ride.
I would take that over JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
I would totally take Russell Wilson over JJ McCarthy, because that's the thing I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say, well, Ricky, you're just going to take JJ McCarthy at 11. That would be awful for us. You want to hinder Justin Jefferson and his talent? Draft JJ McCarthy. Like, here's the thing, JD. This offseason, I was saying it for the longest time. I think it's our GM. I gotta look it up for a second. Because I always forget his name, the dude that I'm talking about. He came over from the Browns. I think I think his GM is the name for it. I can't really remember all these names. Yeah, it's our GM. Adolfo Mensa is basically his name. I've had it for the longest time. I'm like, if he brings back Kirk Cousins, dude's the biggest idiot in the world, worst GM ever. Now, if Kirk Cousins walks, I go, good move. I like the move. I like it. I respect it. Let's go. Let's do something. If he drafts JJ McCarthy, I'm going to be like, wow, you were an idiot. Like, you just want to be the Browns then at that point. You either overpay for a guy like the Browns did with Deshaun Watson, or keep drafting bad quarterbacks and be horrible forever. I don't want that, JD. I don't need that. My team has pretty much been bad since 1961, since before I was born. The last time that my team there were 2 times in my lifetime that my team realistically had a shot to win the Super Bowl. The first one, a guy by the name of Mort Anderson, who was money from the field. He didn't miss anything from field goal range. Missed a kick. I'll put it this way, JD. Here's a story. When I was maybe about, this would have been almost 7 years ago, when I started at the job that I had teaching, there was a co-teacher of mine who was from Minnesota, and we bonded because we're Vikings fans. And he said he was at that game, and he said when they were lining up for that kick, he turned around to everyone that he was with and was like, all right, what bar are we going to? Blah, blah, blah. Wait, what? He missed? That was number 1. Number 2, Brett Favre comes to my team, has the perfect Brett Favre season. It ends because he gets injured in the NFC Championship game. Oh, don't even make me forget about, 2001 when we played the Giants? And we're 1 game away from playing. Let's be honest, that one I kind of leave out. There was no way we were beating the Ravens. That Ravens late Ray Lewis team, the one that beat Kerry Collins and the Giants in the Super Bowl, I don't think we beat that team. That was a very, 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 very good team. But there were 2 times in my life the Vikings could have realistically won the Super Bowl, and those were them. One of which I wouldn't have remembered because I was a baby. The second one I remember vividly because it was my college days. Yeah, I don't even remember what I've been ranting about now. I just started going. I want to be happy, JD. I want to be happy.
Your GM's an idiot. You guys are going to be the Browns, pretty much.
I hope if we draft JJ McCarthy, I am going to be so mad. There's only one good thing about my team, JD, and you and I are opposites in this, is apparently my team treats player families amazingly. Your team treats them like dog.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I feel like at every point, this is like
I'm referring to the team grades, by the way.
Yeah,
that came out.
I'm aware. This is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like at every point, like about a week before free agency starts,
they come out with these.
Yes, and I look at my Bengals and I'm like, okay, yes, we didn't make the playoffs, but we're a good team.
Yeah.
And then I look at these ratings, I'm like, Mike Brown treats this team like we are still poverty. We are a poverty team, and I know this is the draft room, so I'm going to keep it short. But
go ahead. But, rants are okay. I just went on a long one.
It's so annoying because this team can be good. The Bengals can be good, and I'm like, okay, we made it to the Super Bowl. Mike Brown, you're good, but then he's cheap.
Yeah,
and just I don't know. I feel like a week before free agency, everyone's talking about, oh, we're gonna sign this guy, and then the Bengals like, let's get your bargain bins out here. Let's see what we got.
Your bargain bins, bringing it back to the question I'd ask. I want to throw this out. When it comes to the quarterbacks, how many go in the first round? I want to run through real quickly. I'm going to go down, JD, and I'm going to list off one by one teams that have QB as one of their top 3 needs. And for the sake of argument, I'm using NFL mock draft database to decipher if it's in the top 3. We are then going to answer quarterback. Here's your answer: draft or free agency. 2 things, like, where are they going to get this need? Draft or free agency. You ready? The Atlanta Falcons. How would you answer that?
Draft.
Free agency or trade. Well, they're going to go somewhere else. Okay,
so then I changed it to trade. I didn't realize we're adding trade.
Well, trade, free agency, we'll put them together. We'll say draft or then free agency, trade, like anyway.
I changed my answer. Okay. I say trade.
The Bears.
Draft.
Then the next one down, let's see, Denver. I'm going draft.
I say draft.
They're gonna trade up for Drake May. Then the next one you have is the Vikings. I'm gonna go draft.
I'll say draft as well.
The Patriots. This one I don't know.
I'm gonna say free agency / trade.
I'm leaning draft, and here's why. Because at his introductory press conference, Coach Mayo said at 3, they're going to take the best available player at the biggest positional need. Their biggest need is quarterback. It's probably going to be Daniels that is going to, like, if the board plays out like I think it will, Williams 1, May 2, because there'll be a trade up with the Commanders. They're either, if there's no trade, they're either taking Drake May or they could just take Daniels. I think they're taking a quarterback with that 3rd pick. That's what I think they're going to do. Yet again, free agency could change that decision. The Giants, they have technically quarterback as 3rd, even though they got Danny Dimes.
I'll say draft. I think they'll draft someone like the 2nd or 3rd round as like let's see what we got.
I'm going to go free agency. If they draft anyone, it'll be like a Sam Hartman on day 3.
Yeah.
It'll be one of those. But like, if they're seriously looking for options to replace Danny Dimes, I think it'll be free agency or trade. The Jets, they have it at 4, so that doesn't count. Let's see. And then the Washington football team. I don't think they answer it at all. I think they stick with Sam Howell for another year. I think they let it roll.
Yeah, I think they run it back. Maybe and then go for, if it doesn't work out, go like quarterback next year.
I know that there were many people upset at me on my mock draft, basically saying that Sam Howell isn't anything and they'd be stupid to run it back with that. But hey, they like Sam Howell. It's clear that team likes Sam Howell. So like, what, right there, the teams with the draft, we said 1, 2, maybe three or four if you count the Giants, but the Giants weren't doing that in the first round. Like, that's only 3 right there. And guess what? Those 3 quarterbacks are probably going to be taken 1, 2, 3. Now, is it only, I said, are 6 quarterbacks going to go? No. However, I'll ask you this, because I think it's more. Are there going to be more than 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round?
Yeah, I think there's going to be 4.
That's probably where I would sit at too, because you got 1, 2, and 3 will probably be quarterbacks. It'll be Williams, May, Daniels, and then honestly, I think a Michael Penix gets drafted somewhere, and I think it's the Vikings that take him.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I could see it. I could see it be a situation where a team trades back into the first round and then takes them.
Let's see. Tankathon has 4. Tankathon has 4 quarterbacks in the first round. They're pretty much spot on with us, except for one difference.
What?
Guess what difference they could have. That's just completely idiotic.
They have Bo Nix in the first round?
No, worse.
Who's
worse than Bo Nix, who we've been talking about at the start of this podcast?
McCarthy?
Who to who? McCarthy to where?
Oh, to the Vikings.
To the Vikings, yeah. They got Williams at 1, Daniels at 2, May at 3, and then sorry, it makes me sick. And I know everyone listening on audio is like, yeah, that's what I wanted to hear right now in my ears. Doing that, like, I don't know, just a weird gag reflex I get when I think about McCarthy. I gotta turn off my screen. I gotta get rid of that tab. It's just gonna make me want to throw up. Before we end the podcast, though, JD, anyone that stood out to you outside of the quarterbacks at the combine?
I guess I'm in a giving mood today because I'm going to praise one of FSU's defenders. I have him.
Wow.
Hold on.
Look at you praising the enemy.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, JD's a Gator.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a chance my Bengals take him. But Braden Fisk, the defensive tackle from Florida State.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a freak. He ran a 4.78, which for a D tackle, I mean, is pretty good. He is. I want to say he's one of the older players in the draft. I could be wrong about that, but I think he put on a show. He has incredible power. Again, he's very agile, so that's good as a 3 tack. And yeah, I mean, I think he might have worked his way into the first round. Honestly,
you think so?
Yeah.
I mean, working yourself in the late first round isn't the hardest thing to do, though, right?
I mean, but for a D tackle, like, because the reason why
I guess you're right.
Because there's a very good chance now we have 3 D tackles taken in the first round, which I couldn't even tell you the last time that happened.
I mean, I guess you're right. I didn't even think about that. No, I didn't think about that at all. To me, there's 2 guys that I want to mention. Like, there's 2 positions basically I want to mention here with some love. The first one is wide receivers. And you and I, JD, have talked extensively on this podcast about wide receivers. It is known that I have said that I will tell everyone and their grandmother that this is the deepest wide receiver class that we've ever seen for a draft. I can't count on my hands, JD, how many times I've said that as recorded on our YouTube channel. Probably a lot, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
There were 2 wide receivers that impressed me so much, one of which is outside of the first round that I think I like. The first one is Xavier Worthy. He is somebody that to me was bona fide second rounder, maybe even a third, but I would have probably put him in the second personally. I think there's a chance Xavier Worthy might be like inside my top 5, maybe top 6 right now. Yeah. The other guy, I already loved him already, But did you see the stuff that was going on with Roma Dunes from Washington? Did you hear the story about him?
I didn't hear the story. I just heard that he had a really good day.
So,
really good combine.
So I saw a tweet, and they basically were reporting on it on one of the news stations. Is he was doing the 3-cone drill, the one where basically they got to like run, do the zigzag, go around the one cone, and then like sprint all the way back L shape. They kept telling him, Rome, you have a time that works. He wasn't happy with that. He wanted to be faster because he kept clipping the last cone before the sprint. He was out there running this cone drill while you see in the background the janitor guy is like wheeling the carts. Like they are packing up for the day, and Rome's like, no, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
This is like off the air. Like
this is like the combine is over for the day, and he's like, no again. And some people might look at it as like, wow, what an a-hole. Everyone wants to go home, but like, if I'm a scout, I would have been standing up there watching this going, that's the guy I need. That's the guy who, when practice is over, practice is over, go home. He's like, nah, I'm out here working still. I'm getting better. I'm doing what I need to. It just showed the work ethic that I'm like, I'm not saying that Marvin Harrison, Neighbors don't have it, but he obviously showed he had it. The one thing I'm also going to bring up wide receiver wise, JD, and I'm going to ask you about it, is apparently from what I was seeing on Twitter, Marvin Harrison Jr. was supposed to have interviews with teams and stuff and just no-showed them.
Yeah, he left them on red. Just didn't go to talk to people.
Does that, if you're a scout, if you're a GM, if you're someone that's like drafting him, how do you read into that? Because he is the best. He is a generational superstar talent. But how do you read into that?
I mean, I don't like that. I mean, like we've had discussions talking about like Caleb Williams in similar situations, and I don't like guys who are like that. Like, sure, he's probably going to be probably the best receiver in the league. I mean, would I draft him still? Yes, probably. But for me as a outside fan, because I doubt my team's going to get him, I'm not going to cheer for this guy if this is who he is. Like, I mean, dude, you're in college. Well, I guess now you're leaving college. Just not everybody gets to go to the combine, and this is what you're doing. You're being that stuck up a-hole. You know, like, sure, other teams are probably going to get to talk to him during his pro day again, but you should, like, teams usually like more than just one sit down and talk, right? Or one, or I guess interview would be the better way to say it. So, you know, just by him saying, nah, see you guys later. I mean, I don't know. I can't get behind that.
So, two things I'm reading here on Twitter. One of them, I'll be honest, if it wasn't for his generational talent, I'd be saying it easily. I see a tweet here that basically said, I've said it before, I'll take a Dunes over Marvin Harrison Jr. any day of the week. A guy staying after the combine to get work in versus a guy who won't do drills at all, no brainer for me. Then I'm also looking at one. This is from the show, the Bobby Carpenter show. A lot of people have convinced their bosses that there are a lot of good information that they can get out at the NFL Combine when most of them want to sit up at the bar at St. Elmo's and drink. Like, and that was his comments on Marvin Harrison blowing off the media. Like, to me, I look at it like you said, it's a big red flag for me. Because I look at it's like it's the same. It's not the same as that. I was going to bring up something totally regardless, but I'm not going to do that. It just basically says to me that you think you're so good that you could just human decency doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you could be as good as you want, but more times, like any job, JD, we don't want someone that's just going to be good. We want someone who's going to make us better in a whole, who's going to be a good person, who's going to do what you have to do to make people feel like the media also has a play in this. Like, how many guys where it's like they're good, but then they're also friendly to the media, because that's what it's like to be a good person. So, like, for me, really love Roma Dunes. The last thing I want to mention is the cornerback situation, JD. I want to ask you what you think about this, because many people are saying that you've got Mitchell, Terrion Arnold, Nate Wiggins, even though I think Nate Wiggins might have came out of the combine with an injury, if I remember that right.
I think something minor.
But all three of those guys everywhere has been plastered as winners of the combine. And on retrospect, Cooper DeJean, Kool-Aid McKinstry labeled as losers.
Yeah, well, I think, or was it Cooper DeJean that got hurt?
Cooper DeJean's been hurt.
Okay.
Cooper DeJean's the one from Iowa who got hurt during the season and didn't go to the combine because of said injury.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so Mitchell...
Basically, they're saying, hey, these three did so well that it probably hurt these two.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably agree, because Mitchell's been rising, and now I think...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if saying unquestionably is if I'm gonna regret it, but I'm gonna say it. I think Mitchell's unquestionably CB1.
Mm-hmm. Mitchell's the kid out of Toledo, I believe, right?
Yeah, and like, he's just a crazy athlete with good ball skills. My fear, which again it might not matter, is who has he played? He's playing in the MAC, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that can be overcome so quick. Look at where T.O. went to college. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, exactly, right? So I'm just saying, like, it's just something that I have noted, but like, he has, like I said, great ball skills, great athleticism.
Mitchell also runs a 4.33, so I'll take that.
Yeah. Nate Wiggins, I've liked him all year, but
you were the first one that I heard talk about Nate Wiggins, like, throughout this draft process.
Yeah, because he was good the last year, like heading into this year, and then this year he's been good, but he just, in my opinion, watching this year's film on him, he just didn't take that much of a step forward from the previous year, which for me is kind of the only concern. But I still think he's going to be a good player.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see how this, because cornerback and wide receiver are the most interesting positional groups to me. Just because I feel like cornerback, there's a lot of moving because of the injuries to, like, McKinstry, DeJean. You got guys playing well, getting on tape. I know that, Will Compton made the joke about Cooper DeJean. Good job not showing up to the combine. We don't need it. We don't need to see any of your whiteness showing up on tape. Because, the big joke is that he'll be the first white cornerback in the NFL. Yep. But, like, even with the wide receivers, like, I am so excited. I love this class. Like, obviously there's guys in the wide receiver class that I'll say I'm not huge fans of, like Malik Neighbors. I still am on the side of, like, I don't hate Malik Neighbors, but I'm not the biggest fan of Malik Neighbors, if that makes sense. Like I'm more on the side of, I love Troy Franklin. I love Keon Thomas. I now love Xavier Worthy even more than I did. Roma Dunes has probably been my number one wide receiver that I've loved all year. And I'm not even a Husky fanboy. I just like the Husky quarterback and the Husky wide receiver. Even Polk has been good, but he's going to be a day 3 pick. I'm not overhyping him at all. But any final thoughts, JD, before we wrap this up?
We're almost at the draft.
What, 50 days? I think it was 50 days till the draft.
Yeah, something like that. So we're getting closer. We got stuff planned. So
yeah, I'm gonna say, with my scouting videos, I'm probably not gonna do as many as I wanted to, but I'm definitely gonna do some of them. I'm definitely gonna get some out of there. We'll have mock drafts. We got to do another big board. We got to figure out now. Use the comment section for this. For those of you watching this long, we do the mock draft where it's just me doing the mock draft. We've got other things planned for the next one and moving forward. But let us know how you guys would want us to do the big board, because I want to workshop the big board. I'm Not that I'm not happy with you, JD. You're perfect. I'm not happy with the structure of the big board and how we've been doing it. I think it needs to be fine-tuned. So we got to do that and get another one of those out there. But that's going to do it for the draft room. Let us know what you guys think down below. Hit us up on Twitter as well. Our handles are in the description. If you're listening on maybe Apple Podcast or Spotify and want to make your voices heard, go ahead and check out the BETUS link in the description. Go ahead and check out the Discord. Check us out on Patreon, like button, sub button, all that good stuff. JD, thank you for another great show. We'll be back in 2 weeks talking more NFL draft. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Toodles.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.